Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another Tales from the Vargas Vault. It's actually been a while since I recorded a Tales video, but in one of my last pickup videos I was able to share with you guys two of the last Jim Carrey movies that I wanted, so I decided to make a Tales video showcasing my Jim Carrey collection. I'm a fan of Jim Carrey. I like his acting, I like his work. A lot of people don't really like Jim Carrey that much because they basically think that Jim Carrey just plays Jim Carrey in each and every one of his movies. But I think he does have range. He has proven he can do dramatic roles as well as comedy, and I really like Jim Carrey. That's why I've gotten a collection of his going. So, like I said, I just wanted to share my Jim Carrey collection now that it's in a state where I'm think it's near complete. Now, the first time I saw Jim Carrey was, of course, in Living Color. This is season 1, back when he was still called James Carrey. More memorable for his Fire Marshal Bill sketch and his imitations. Really, Jim Carrey, all of the actors in Living Color stood out, but Jim Carrey had a certain thing that I think propelled him into acting. The first movie I saw him in is Earth Girls Are Easy. I don't have that one because I honestly haven't seen it on DVD. I've seen it on VHS, but I haven't seen it on DVD. But of course, if I ever see it, I will pick it up. But the first major movie that I saw Jim Carrey in is a movie that I was trying to track down for a long time in the wild, and I was finally able to get a copy, and that's The Mask. Where he finds the mask of Loki and becomes this real-life cartoon character. Really funny, great effects for its time, I thought, and it had Cameron Diaz in it. Just a really fun movie, and this is what really propelled him into being the superstar that he is. Then the next movie he did that I saw him in was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Hilarious movie, again, really funny. It's about this detective that only works animal cases, and Jim Carrey plays it hilariously. Great movie too. Then he did Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, the sequel to Ace Ventura, but this time he goes to Africa. Also really funny. It has a really funny scene when he's coming out of a rhinoceros. If you know what scene I'm talking about, hilarious movie. I really like this one too. Then I have Dumb and Dumber. I like the movie, but sometimes I have issues with it because the movie sometimes really gets really dumb. That's kind of part of the comedy of it, but I don't know, sometimes it gets too dumb for my tastes, but still doesn't take away from the fact that Jim Carrey is great in it, and it's a great comedy. Then, I don't have it here because I have it in the superhero collection, but it was also in Batman Forever, where Jim Carrey starred as the Riddler, and that's one of the issues that I understand why they went with Jim Carrey, because I think they were trying to go for the Batman TV show vibe, where the Riddler was also kind of like a comedian, but I don't know, I don't fault Jim Carrey, I fault the movie itself and the direction that they gave him, but Jim Carrey was really cool as the Riddler nonetheless. I really enjoyed that, but again, that's in my Batman collection, not in my Jim Carrey collection. The next movie I saw him in was Liar Liar, where his son makes a birthday wish that Jim Carrey can't lie throughout the whole day. And it really sucks for Jim Carrey because he's a lawyer, so his whole thing was being a really good liar. But this one, I think, is the first bridge between Jim Carrey going for comedy, but also trying to show some heart in his acting, because he does have some heartful moments in this that he didn't really have in the other movies. Really recommend Liar Liar 2. It's really good. Then he did, this is Jim Carrey doing his more serious. He was trying to get into a more serious roles and not focus so much on comedy. And the first one that I saw him try that was in The Truman Show, which is about this reality show based on the Jim Carrey character called Truman. And basically, they just take this whole city and build a giant set on it, and everyone's in on the fact that this is a reality show except Jim Carrey. So it's a really interesting look at how reality shows can get out of hand, and I really like this one. Again, it's Jim Carrey in a more serious role, but really good movie. Continuing on his serious streak, he did Man on the Moon, which is it's based on the life of another good comedian called Andy Kaufman. I don't know if anyone's seen this movie or really knows about him. Andy Kaufman was in the TV show Taxi with Tony Danza and Danny DeVito. And this is Jim Carrey playing him, and I remember a lot of people, internet reviewers and, well, not internet reviewers, movie reviewers, saying that Jim Carrey really got into the role of Andy Kaufman. Even some people that knew Andy Kaufman said that Jim Carrey really got into him. So yeah, this is a very interesting look at a very interesting person. Andy Kaufman is a very interesting person, and Jim Carrey, I think, did a really good job with that. Then another movie that wasn't as well received, another attempt for Jim Carrey to do serious drama, was The Majestic. A lot of people didn't like it because they thought it was kind of heavy-handed, but I enjoyed it. Again, I think Jim Carrey has proven that he has range and he can do drama as well as comedy, and this was pretty good. If you haven't seen The Majestic, based on what people have said about it, I would suggest you give it a shot. It's not that bad of a movie. Another movie that he did that I don't own is Me, Myself, and Irene. I watched it. Jim Carrey was pretty good in it. He plays this character that has a split personality, but I personally didn't like that movie. That's why I don't own it, and I've seen it a bunch of times. I consider myself a completist, so if I ever see it cheap, I might pick it up, but I'm more interested in picking up another movie that he did, which is The Grinch, the movie adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's the only movie that I've also been trying to look for. It's not as necessary as The Mask. The Mask was the one Jim Carrey movie that I've been trying to look for and have not been able to find, but I found that one, thankfully. The Grinch, I have issues with that. Jim Carrey, again, is a really good Grinch. I just have issues with the movie. I'm such a huge fan of the original animated one that what they did with the Grinch in that movie was a bit too much. It was too much of everything. It was just too much sound, too much things happening. It got a little out of hand, I think. So if I ever find that movie, I will buy it because, again, I want to get that Jim Carrey collection as complete as I can. But that's one of the movies that I haven't been able to find, and I will only pick up again because of Jim Carrey, much like Me, Myself, and Irene. Another movie of his that I really like, going back to comedy, is Bruce Almighty. He's about a character that is a nice guy, but he doesn't feel he advances in life. And then one day he asks God for help, and God gives him his power, only in his city, of course. It also stars Jennifer Aniston. It's a hilarious movie. It reteams Jim Carrey with I think it's either the director or the producer that did Liar Liar. Funny movie. Morgan Freeman is God. And the things they do with the God powers I thought was really cool. So that's a movie of his that I really enjoyed. Another movie, going a little bit back to his drama focus, is Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Amazing movie. The visuals are really cool. Everyone involved in the movie is awesome. Jim Carrey, again, showing that he can do dramatic roles. But again, the thing that I love about this movie is the visuals, the whole how memories work. Great, great, great movie. If you haven't watched it, definitely give that one a chance. Then the next one he did is an adaptation of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, where he plays Count Orloff. Very, very cool movie. I don't know how faithful it is to the oh, the lights went out. I don't know how faithful it is to the actual book. I've never read the book, but again, Jim Carrey is great in this. Even though what they do to those kids is kind of messed up. The next one I have is Fun with Dick and Jane, starring Téa Leoni and Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is this executive that his company collapses. It's kind of a shot at, well, it's not really kind of, it is a shot at the whole Enron fiasco. But he loses his job. Everything that he owns is getting repossessed. Him and his wife try different things to make ends meet, and they decide they're going to become criminals and rob people. I thought this was a hilarious movie. I went to see this in the theater, and I really, really liked this movie a lot. The next movie he did, again, going back to comedy, is Yes Man with Zooey Deschanel. It's about this guy that has lived a very repressed life, but then he goes to a seminar, and this guy says to him that if he really wants to change his life, he has to stop saying no and always say yes. So Jim Carrey takes that to heart, but to an insanely extreme level. So he says yes to everything, and people, of course, take advantage of him, but it does help him out to grow and to get a semblance of life, which I enjoyed about this movie a lot. This was really, really cool. And the last Jim Carrey movie I own is a movie I got for my girlfriend, and it's Mr. Popper's Penguins. Kind of similar a bit to Liar Liar, where Jim Carrey's this workaholic, and he inherits a couple of penguins from his dad, who was this explorer. So the penguins bring him and his family together. It's an adorable movie. Jim Carrey's good in it. Again, Jim Carrey's good in most of the stuff that he does. I don't think I've seen a Jim Carrey. Well, no, not a movie that I thought Jim Carrey was bad in. Even despite my issues with The Grinch or Batman Forever, Jim Carrey was good in it. So I again can't complain about Jim Carrey. And the movie is, again, it's a family movie. It's about these CG penguins that again bring a family together. So it's pretty good. The last movie that I know is out there, but I've never seen, is I Love You, Philip Morris. I've heard that that's a good movie, that Jim Carrey plays this con man that falls in love with a convict. So he gets in and out of jail just to see this guy, starred by Jim Carrey and Ian McGregor. But I've never actually seen that movie, so that's why I haven't picked it up. And Jim Carrey was also in Kick-Ass 2, but that would go more in my superhero collection. I thought Jim Carrey was great in Kick-Ass 2. The character looked like something from the comic book, and Jim Carrey played that character flawlessly. So yeah. I know I'm probably missing some other movies. I'm basing myself on Jim Carrey movies that I've seen. I think I've mentioned all of them, though. Of course, I do have some favorite Jim Carrey movies. The movie that I've been trying to track down the most is my favorite Jim Carrey movie, and that's The Mask. It took me forever to get this movie. I either always saw it scratched, or I just didn't see it. And again, I like to find movies in the wild, and I enjoy the thrill of the hunt. So finally being able to get a copy of The Mask was pretty cool, because this is my favorite Jim Carrey movie. So yeah, that was the Vault video. Just wanted to share with you guys and take a look back at Jim Carrey's career. Like always, thanks so much for watching, and until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78, signing out.